Hey everybody, Z Garcia here, and it's time to recruit our crew and gather our specialists. We're going into space in wild space. Wild Space here is a card game in which you are going to be building up a group of cards in front of you, and they're going to be scoring you victory points based on a variety of things. You are basically making combinations in front of you. You want to have a lot of the same animal. You want to have a bunch of the different animals. You want to have different professions among your crew, and you're going to be doing all that by doing a little worker placement. You're placing out these little ships you have and taking actions, all right? It's a fairly straightforward game. The iconography is a little heavy, so it looks a little more complex at first. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and take a look at how it works, and I'll see you on the other side of that for some final thoughts. To begin, we're going to set up the planets. We have these two starting planets, each one with two possibilities for placement of your ships. And then we have three others, A3, A6, and A9. You set those up randomly using these, and then you put the rest aside. Everybody begins with a captain, a metal tracker here, some ships, 5 ships, and then a hand of 3 of the cards, and we also reveal 3 more there. And then you are ready to begin. So, on your turn, let's say it's going to be this player over here first. I'm showing you 2 players. You are going to take an action, and that action is one of 2 things. You can place a ship somewhere you are able to, so you can place it at the bottom of one of these, any one of these. Somebody else could go there if you're already there, but you cannot go there again if you're already there. Or you can slide up a ship and then take the action at the top. So you've got 5 of these ships. That means you're going to take 10 actions in the game. 5 of them across the bottom of these planets and 5 by sliding up the ship. You can do that in whatever order you want to, of course, and once the game is over after those 10 rounds, then you figure out who the winner is, and they give you a little scoring aid here to write down your scores. So, let me talk you through a few of the things you are going to encounter and what it is you are attempting to do. You are trying to build up your crew. You begin with your captain, like I said. So this is the captain here. And I've got a few cards in my hand. I've got a couple of robots. I've got some crew member here. And there's also, these are emissaries. They have a little sort of clipboard in the bottom corner there. There's also some symbology which gives you victory points, as well as things that are used on other cards to score cards, such as the animal, the type of character it is, the octopus, or the simian there, a lizard, some rhino. There's also a profession. So we've got over here a scientist, and this is a techie character, and there will be one that's like a fighter. This guy here has a little gun. So various professions, okay? And then also on the cards, you might see over here a special ability. Once this card hits the table, I'll be able to take the special ability. Some of them have a prerequisite right on that spot that if you can do it, if you qualify for the prerequisite, then you can take the special ability. All right, so let's go ahead and take a turn. I am going to select only one of these 4 because these are not revealed yet. And I am going to take this one. This one says, discard a card and then play a card. Great. So let's take a look at my hand here. I've got these. I'm going to discard this robot here. So I'm going to take that one and discard it, and then I'm going to play one. I'm going to play this robot. The robot is not one of the animals, of course, and I'll put that into play. So it does a couple of things. It's 5 victory points at the end of the game, but also it has a medal. That means this is one of the veterans in the game. If I play a veteran, I take the matching token here, and I'm going to slide it up on this track above my captain. So you'll see on the captain, he begins over here. This first spot will let me draw a card. This will let me draw 2. There I can play one, 5 victory points at the end of the game, and then play another one. These are going to be different for all of the captains in the game. For example, this captain over here has a bunch of draw, a single play, but then if you get it all the way to the end, 7 victory points. So there we go, that's what I did, and then this moves along to the draw 1, and I will take one. I can take any of these, or I could take one from the top of the pile. I can also discard on my turn, discard a card from my hand to discard all these and replenish them. I could do that too. So I am going to take, I'll take this one here. And then we replenish that like so. And it'll be the other player's turn. This player is going to go ahead and take a turn. And they are going to do this. They're going to go here, which lets them, let's see. Yeah, I kind of like that. That's going to let them play one of those cards that has the metal. So they could play this one, for example, and they'll put that into play, advance the metal, draw a card. They want to draw this one. There we go. And they're going to take that. That's a mechanic. They put that in their hand. Comes back to me, and again, my choices now are I can play here, here, or I could slide this one up. The tops all do the same thing. You can draw 3 cards, or you can play one. Those are all the same option across the top, across all of the tiles out here. Now, when do you see these? Well, as soon as anybody at the end of their turn has 3 cards or more, then we reveal this tile. And that gives you a couple of new options. And then same thing when we get to 6, when we get to 9. You can still not go there, though, until you yourself have 3 cards on the table, or 6, or 9. And that does include your beginning captain. So that'll count. All right? But obviously in this example, that wouldn't have happened yet. So this continues, okay? Let me explain a couple more things on the cards just to give you a little more overview, and that should give you an idea of how it all works out. So, end of the game. Let's cut to this here and follow through with how scoring goes. The first one, first line across, is for like characters. If you have 3 characters of the same type, and that's not professional, I mean the animal. So let's say I have 3 lizards here, lizard folk. For the third one, I'm going to get 5 points. And for every further one after that, I'm also going to get 5 points. So first one, nothing. Second one, nothing. Then 5. Then another 5. So on. For the next line here, I'm looking for different ones. And if I have a set of 6, that's all of them. If I have 1 of each, I'm going to get 15 points. If I do it again, that's another 15 points. For the next one, we're looking at the emissaries. All of the emissaries have some scoring. So this one is, for example, if you have the most fighters, you're going to get 5 victory points. There's a bunch of different ones in the game. This is 2 points for every time you have 1 monkey and 1 pilot. They don't have to be on the same cards. Just every occurrence of 1 monkey, 1 pilot, that's 2 points. And so on. There's a bunch of different ones. The next one here is for the robots. Any points that give you right on the card. Most of the robots have a value. This one's 5 points. This one's 4 points. This one gave me a medal. This one allowed me immediately to draw 3 cards. Hence, it was worth a little less. Okay? After that, we're going to check everybody's pilot and see, or captain, and see if they made any points on that. And then you add it all up. So a big part of the trick in the game is getting chains to work out for you. So for example, let me see if I can somehow manage to do this, okay? Let's say I have this card in my hand, and I'm going to look for something. I'm just going to set up a fake scenario for you so that you understand what I mean by sort of getting a chain going. And it happens all the time. It might seem difficult because I'm going through so many of these cards, but it's really not that tricky. It's not that difficult to do. So, we're going to start with picking anywhere that lets me play a card, and I would play this card, let's say. This character is a robot, has no victory points. It does say, however, take 1, draw a card, and immediately play it. That's what that symbol means. So I would do this one, and I would play that. And then immediately, from out here, I would take this one, and I would play that, which lets me play a card with one of the metals. And so I would take a card with one of the metals, and I would play that, like so. And then moving the metal maybe lets me play a card. So then I play a card, such as this octopus here. And then maybe after that, which lets me play one of the emissaries, I play that one. That's possible. It's rare for me to play 5 cards, but 3? That's not that rare. 2? Certainly not rare. So it's all about the combinations and how you can sort of follow one sequence down in interesting ways, getting the combos on the board, making sure that the thing you potentially could score for, you will score for by pursuing that, all sorts of things like that. So there you go. Let me show you these just to give you an idea of what you can expect. But that's pretty much the game. There's also a solitaire mode in the game, which is going to use these little cards to simulate another player. And it's very straightforward. You are going to just put these out here. You'll give that player a color. They are going to, or you are going to select one of these two lines. So there's this line and this line here. And then when you select it, the player will do, the AI in the game will do that based on where these three cards are. So these three cards correspond to these three spots. The AI will leave this one alone. It'll bank this one, and it'll discard this one and bank its replacement. It'll bank that, and then we replace it again. Then later on, it'll move the ship up here and do that sequence. There's some bonus scoring up here. But that's, again, just a few more things. Very simple, actually, and it works really well. You have to be smart in the way you play against the AI. I like it. So there we go. Let's go ahead and go back up top, everybody, and I'll give you some final thoughts. This is an excellent little game. I've really enjoyed it. The multiplayer is good. The solitaire mode is good. It's charming. It's engaging. It's thinky. It could lead to a little analysis paralysis. There's plenty of sort of little paths to go. And the main thing that came to mind when I was playing the first time was, this kind of gives me that same feeling as when I first played Gone Sean Clever, a very popular roll and write style game, in which it was all about finding these little combinations. Oh, circling this lets me unlock this thing, which lets me do that. That's kind of how this felt. Playing this card first lets me play this one, which lets me draw this one, which lets me do this other thing. So that's really neat. Let's go ahead and talk about the different aspects of the game here. I'm going to start with the weakest thing, which is not really a problem. I just didn't find it very clear or captivating, and that is the theme in the game. The theme is sort of, you are discovering, they've discovered a new galaxy on the borders of the known space, and you are commanding a spaceship. You're going to go explore. None of that comes through. I guess those action selection spots are meant to be planets. Like, these are planets, okay? That doesn't come through. So the theme's just not there. It's cute. It's just the theme's not there, but that's not where cute falls for me. Cute falls under aesthetics. And absolutely this game has awesome aesthetics. I think the card quality is pretty nice. They're square, which might be a little tricky for folks to sleeve if you like sleeving, but they work out well. You can make a nice, layout in front of you on the table. The quality of the wooden bits here is very nice. The whole thing is great. Rulebook is nice and clear. Didn't have any issues there. So the whole thing comes together very nicely. The icons, yeah, they're a little bit tricky. It's going to take some getting used to, okay? But other than that, great aesthetics. The replay value, tons of combinations of paths, of interesting interactions. Love it. Really, really engaging stuff. The game arc is very tricky. Again, it's all ultimately kind of about doing the most you can with just 10 actions. That's all you're doing in the game. You take 10 actions. How do you turn those 10 actions into a virtual 16 actions, right? That's where the game is at, and it's really fascinating. Yes, it leads to people sitting there sort of thinking through a chain, a sequence, but as long as you're patient with this one, I think you're going to have a fantastic time discovering those things in it. Ease of play. I think it's good. Like I said, I think the biggest hurdle here is the icons take a little getting used to. They're not bad iconography, okay? And they do give you on the back of the rulebook an iconography breakdown. Fantastic. That's how you do it. Put it on the back of the rulebook. Otherwise, this is wasted space. But it does take a little getting used to. It does. And I do wish that I kind of wish that the scoring pad here was a little more clear as to what each thing is worth, but again, it's on the back, so it's not really a big deal. Thumbs up there too. Lastly, tactics, strategy, luck. I think you can see that this game has some good stuff going on in it. There's a little bit of luck with the card draw, though you can mitigate that by discarding one card, like I said, and wiping away what's out there. But there's a lot of fun combinations. There's a lot of interesting ways you can try to make the sauce that you're cooking with work for you. It's also not a multiplayer solitaire game, because you are watching what everybody else around the table is doing. Many times you need to have more of one kind of thing than the other players, so you have to keep an eye on them. It's indirect, interaction. You're not really picking on anyone, but there is that. You're not blocking each other on the board, so that's not happening. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was really a lovely, very attractive, very cutesy, but thinky kind of game. I think the interest in the game and the amount of thought that goes into it belies this sort of look, so that's great. Let's go ahead and talk about final scoring here then. This is going to get from me an 8.5 out of 10. That means it squeaks into a seal of excellence, and I think it deserves it. It's really engaging. So there you go. That is Wild Space, everybody. For me, an 8.5 out of 10. Seal of excellence. Check this one out if you're looking for a thinky, but also very, very cute card game. That's going to be it. My name is Z Garcia. I'm going to see you on the next one.